right, today we are talking about job search. 10x your job search process. So, how are you thinking about that? I would begin with these 8 steps first. One, plan your job search and align it with your career goals. Two, determine your values. Think about it always, right? We're thinking about that. Determine your values. Make sure that your values are aligned with your job search goals. Three, craft and networking strategies. I know the world of networking has changed a lot. We're not talking about going to places and meet people and exchange business cards. We're thinking of how do we strategically meet people who can help us. It can be family members, former co-workers, just friends. So think of broaden your network process, not just the old process of going to a place, sit there, exchanging business card. No, this is more intentional. How do you go about it? Can you add value to people at that point in time? Creating a compelling resume and cover letter. There are so many people that in the job search process forget to send a cover letter. I can tell you, it is very, very important. That cover letter speaks a lot. It gives detail about who you are, where that resume lacks a few details. So do not forget the cover letter. Prepare for the interview. We can't say it enough, right? Prepare the progress, the process, research, and prepare. That goes to the next step. Make sure you do your research on the company or the role you're looking for. So think through that process. Do some research. How do we get the job or not? That's basically on you. But again, it doesn't define you. So keep the two separately. It's on you to do the research to make sure that you're understanding the networking process, meeting the right people, but it doesn't define you. Doesn't work? Start again. Evaluate, start again. Think about what you did wrong. How are you going to go about that? And build from there. So stay current with the job market. Whatever you can do, look what's going on in the job market. What are the changes? What are the new paradigm shifts? What are the new technology people are asking for? What are the new protocols? So make sure that you're building personal and professional relationships, goes back to the networking, to think through, okay, how do I build this relationship? It can be an internship. I think it's a great way for especially for people who are just recent grads, or if you're in your last semester, think of an internship. Informational interview. I think that's the gem right there. Find someone you want to talk to and just say, reach out to them, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's through TikTok or some other places. Well, as we know, TikTok is probably out to the United States, but some medium, Instagram, just a small message just saying, hey, I know you're working for X company. I have an interest in working there. Are you okay with giving me 5 minutes of your time so I can ask you a few questions about the company or how I can prepare? Great way. Informational interviews are great way to get access to what's going on in the corporation, what the culture looks like, and how you're a good fit. Alumni network. That's the key, right? So again, if you have alumni network, I would advise you, I'd recommend that you go there, look for people working in an industry or a company that your role that you really want to do, and just reach out to them, just talk to them, just have fun, enjoy it. They're your alumni, so it's easy to just have conversation around that particular interest. Job fair. Some of these things are probably difficult to do in today's world. I know there's a lot of people who are just like, no, I'd rather just be on Instagram. But every now and again, if it's really relatable, I would advise you just to go and just, again, use it as a networking session, meet new people, talk to new people, see what's going on, what new companies are entering the industry, or they're the same old companies that you need to figure out how to talk to these people, align with their interests. How can you add value to what they're doing? And again, just Shadowing volunteers. I think that is, I know some people are going to say, I can't afford it. I can't afford to do that. But I think it's a great way. Again, if you just decide to shadow somebody at work, it's a great way for you to just understand what the day to day activities are in this role. What is it like a day in the life of this role? Are you prepared for that role? Do you want that role? Do you have the knowledge set and the skills for that role? Or do you need to go stack more skills to get that role? So, again, be okay with attending conferences, read. Doesn't matter whether if you're watching podcasts or you're reading books or you're reading extensively around different things just to add those skills. Join and participate in association, like what's going on, where employees going, what type of associations are they in. Join those things, be a part of those things. I think it's a great way to do that. I would really recommend that people start building a personal brand. I know people are going to say, I don't like to be on TikTok, I don't like to be on LinkedIn, I don't like to be on Instagram. Social media has its pros and cons. Your role is not to get on social media and start developing some expertise around politics or something. No, you're there to find a job. Look at the platform that suits you best and suits the job you're trying to get. Build a brand where you're talking about the things that is going on in that industry and try to become a subject matter expert. Or at the very least, how can you add value to some of the people or companies that you're seeing in the certain role or industry you want to work for? So build a compelling professional presence and reputation. Stay away from all of the politics, stay away from all of the things that really doesn't pertain to what you're looking for. It's highly imperative that you just focus on why are you here, build a professional profile, be consistent. The key for success in this area is consistency. So be consistent and clear with your message. Again, don't deviate from what you're there for. You're looking for a job in a particular industry, particular role. Stay with that. Please don't deviate. Don't start talking about politics and who's doing what and who's doing. Just leave this alone. Not the role you're looking for. Unless you're looking for a job in politics, then that might make sense. Again, generate brand awareness. The more you're talking, the more you're networking, people are going to like what you're saying, identify what you're saying, and potentially just invite you in for a job. So we're using social media. So think about how to use social media effectively. Uh, be professional, be courteous. You're not there to create unnecessary attention to you in the wrong way. You're there to look at what your goals are. How do you achieve your goals? How do you meet the right people on the platform that you want to align with and organizations you want to work with? And then find constructive way to dialogue with them, talk about the things they're doing, can you add value, what are appropriate for you to talk about. So the job search process revolves around different things, right? So you're thinking about where can I find the job I'm looking for, the role I'm looking for. There are different places you can go to. Again, it's basically what you're comfortable with. Some people might become comfortable web, mobile. Do that in person. Some people might be more comfortable doing in person. Well, that's okay. But there's so many different job search platforms out there and portals and events and all these things that you should be looking and researching and just see the ones that you're comfortable with. Like, what am I comfortable with? What would I like to do? And just keep doing that. Create a compelling resume. What is the primary purpose of a resume? It's to get an interview. In most cases, if you get this interview, you've increased the odds that you'll get the job. So just think of it that way. So your primary purpose of your resume is to get you an interview. Make sure it's targeted, relevant, result outcome oriented. So you want it to be unique in terms of it is pointed to a certain individual and the employer. Obviously, try to make it There's so many tools out there to make sure it's free of grammar, whether it's Grammarly, someplace, um, and make it easy to read. Make it easy to read. That is something you should always make sure that it's easy to read. There are different resume style. Personally, for me, I think, especially when you're starting out, functional can be a great thing to just demonstrate who you are. But as you get more seasoned in your professional world, you can think about how do I combine all the possible things out there that I can look at. So I think for me, it's always just make it functional, but there are different ways. Again, what I'm saying doesn't have to be the rule. There's other ways to do it. So feel free to do use your. But again, as long as it's simple, it's clean, it's easy to read, then go for it. There's also the possibility of creating basically online resumes. So you can have a Google Docs where you store your resume. Basically, so I would always say that you have a master resume, a main resume, where you're saying, okay, this is my main resume. And then from it, you can build sub resumes that are directly pointed to or targeted to a particular company. So sorry, it's company. So that's the key right there. It's just to think about, okay, I have this master resume. There's a lot that's on it. Okay, fine. You want to narrow down your resume to depend again. This depends, right? If you're early in your job search process, you're a recent grad, I would really advise you to keep your resume to one page. As you get more seasoned, you're a seasoned professional, 5, 6, 10 years out, I would probably say you can go to two. You potentially can go to 2 pages, but stay within that 2 pages. If you're doing a CV, most people who are PhD looking for that top job, they're CEOs, executives. Yes, you can go beyond probably just create a CV that would probably has a lot more pages, right? No graphics. I just think it's not necessary. Basically, I know I had a pretty one right here, but no image, no graphics. Just keep it simple. Basically, like my Samuel Jackson one, just keep it pretty simple. Um, I think that's your best bet. When we're focusing on resumes, in today's world, we want to really dive deep into understanding keywords because keywords are extremely important for getting your resume passed, preferably PDF. If you can, that's always great. Or you can see if it's a Word document, that's pretty easy. But I think PDF works pretty well. As I mentioned earlier, cover letter is key, really helps, it gives more detail. There is different ways to structure it. I like to look at the first paragraph, I'm talking about the purpose. Second paragraph, I'm explaining my experience. And then the closing statement that's restating my interests, making sure that they know that I really want this job. Why am I a good candidate? How can I add value? All those different skills. And think about there's so again, this is my second peeve. There's so many um, things that is wrong with this whole interview process, but a big pet peeve for me is people who are not following up. You finish your interview, just think right away, okay, I need to send. It doesn't matter if it didn't go well for you. This is a process that didn't go well. Just make sure that you send a follow-up thank you after the interview process. So write a wonderfully written email just saying thank you so much for taking the time. And very, very, very important, and I think even more important, but I would probably just use, let's say, equally important, is just to reiterate why you are the right candidate for this job and some of your strengths and your skills that are appropriate to the job. So typically, when we're thinking about some of the things that we want to put in the resume, we're looking at their different objectives summary that you can think about. I would argue that for entry level workers, just keep it simple, target around your career, introduce your skills, make the statement, at least in the first line. And I give you an example, like, just a quick example of what you potentially could put in. But again, for entry level workers, try to keep it pretty simple. Um, for mid-level workers, you have more room. Again, like you said, you're a little bit more detail oriented. Basically, 'cause you have more, you've accomplished more in general, so you can elaborate a little bit more. As you can see, highly professional and detail oriented accounting professional. So you can go into a little bit more deep dive into that summary. Again, remember, this is that first intro line on your resume where you just put in something there. So just like keep it that way. Great. If you're watching this and you're at the end, awesome. Please free to send me some Q&As. Basically, would answer any questions that you have. You can DM me. You can put in the comments. Remember to subscribe and follow us for the next time. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. We'll talk pretty soon.